Hello, folks. This is a BlackWeasel, and today's One Piece chapter 833. So we're gonna go ahead and get right to it. And shit, maybe it's a little bit. Feels like the camera's a little bit crooked. Oh well. Anyways, this is chapter 833. I did it all. What the heck? Nope. It's a rocky start, I can tell you that for sure. Alright, One Piece chapter 833. The name of the chapter is called Vinsmoke Judge, or Jajji, because that's his name of the last character that was introduced. And this is the last chapter before One Piece film Gold comes out, so we have a promo picture. We have Gildo and his henchmen. We have the Straw Hats dressed in all black, and he has the pink stuff, which reminds me of Doflamingo. So yeah. Apparently, there's like a watch named after One Piece, which is completely in Japanese, which I can't understand it. More Japanese promo. Another wallpaper that says a special color spread to celebrate the widely anticipated opening of One Piece film Gold. So Straw Hats are wearing a kimono while eating watermelon. And the film Gold will be in theaters across Japan starting July 23rd, and be sure not to miss it. More promo. There's more promo. Anyways, now the scene takes place for this chapter on Whole Cake Island, Gurmit Kingdom. And someone yells out, "It's a duel." And a bunch of male soldiers are running, and one guy says, "I heard that the duel is between the commander and the Sanji guy that we've been hearing about." And somebody asks, "Just what kind of guy is he?" And the other person says, "Well, it's not too hard to imagine." And the scene takes place back towards Gurmit Kingdom, Yonji Fortress. And the guy says, "I just heard that Sanji was still going on about declining the marriage, so I told him off in place of our father." And then Yonji says, "I didn't expect things would be much different for back then, but this was the result. That bastard, I'm making pay." And Yonji has gotten beaten to hell by Sanji, and strangely enough, he has two eyebrows that's squiggly to the right, towards my right. And the person that's repaired Yonji says, "Master Yonji, I don't think a hammer is going to do the job." And then the guy says, "I'm going to use the press machine, so hold still." And Yonji says, "Say what?" And he uses the press machine which puts Yonji's face smashed in between two pillars. And he says, "Eh." And the guy says, "As good as new." And Yonji says, "Chris says, how could a good for nothing like him possibly get the better of me?" Because he's part of the Straw Hat crew. Anyways, the scene changes, and the people say, "So that's Master Sanji." And some people say it looks strong, and the other guy saying he's not even wearing a raid suit. And the other guy said that bounty of his seriously wasn't just for show. And the scene starts out with Sanji kicking Jajji's arm as he guards it. And And Yanji's arm has a little bit of a scar on his left arm. And so Sanji's still twirling and spinning around, and Jajji says, And then Jajji says, so you dare to kick your own father? And then Sanji said, you started this fight, so I'm going to finish it. And furthermore, don't you dare call yourself my parent anymore. So yeah, I suspect that there'll be a lengthy flashback. And it was Jajji said, you return home, Sanji. This means that you are indeed my son. And then Sanji said, it's hard for me to feel a sentiment in that when you're waving around a big ass spear trying to impale me. I have every clear intention of leaving this place and returning to my crew as soon as this Tea Party bullshit is over. The marriage is a total farce. And somebody yells out, get some, get some. And Jajji says, still harping on about, do you really think that Big Mom will sit idly by in the face of such betrayal? And then Sanji says, I'm going to care less about what happens to you all after the fact. I only came here to protect my crew. And then Jajji says, are you saying that you sacrificed your own family? And then Sanji says, how many times do I have to say this? You definitely know family of mine. And damn. And there's a flashback that goes back. And somebody says, you good from nothing. And somebody else says, this piece of shit was caught in the middle of making food for a bunch of filthy rats again. And somebody says, royals aren't meant to dirty their hands cooking, moron. It looks like somebody's kicking Sanji. And then a little kid, Sanji, who's wearing a number 3 shirt, he says, shut up, give it back. And he punches a guy wearing the number 1 shirt, and there's a clang sound. Like, it isn't hurting that much. Like, Sanji's right arm hurts, so he said, ouch. And the person that punches him back says, who do you think you are? The person said, don't even touch me, moron. And then Yanji said, ha ha ha, so weak, what a loser. And somebody says, and the other person says, wah ha ha. So it's a fight. So Sanji has 3 other brothers. And then Sanji said, all 4 of us maybe have been born on the same day, but you're totally the black sheep of the bunch. Wait, that's what the guy wearing the 1 shirt is saying to Sanji. Anyway, so some people, the other siblings continue to laugh. Sanji is crying. And someone says, father. And Jajji asks, are you bullying Sanji again? And someone yells, father. And then Sanji says, father, help. And Jajji says, why should I? And Sanji is getting very surprised because his own father won't help him getting beat up. And Jajji said, it's clear as day that you'll be useless as a warrior in the future. I have no obligation to help you, and I see no worth raising you either. You're nothing but a stain, a disgrace to our family name. And he starts crying. And Riju starts laughing. Yeah, ha ha. And the guy says, get up, I'll give you some of my personal training. And number 1 says, you bring nothing but shame to all of us. And 2 and 1 starts charging at him, and he says, do it, Yanji, charge right at him. And Yanji says, hell yeah. And Sanji yells out, a bleh sound. And that's where the flashback ends. And then Jajji said, were you just reminiscing now? And Jajji uses his spear to attack Sanji, but he uses his right leg to block it. So I'm pretty sure that he just used hockey a little bit. Yeah, which he did. And then and Jajji says, to think that you of all people would be capable of using hockey. And somebody said he stopped the top of that spear with his leg. And Jajji says, what's wrong? I'll give you the courtesy of picking up the sword. I remember turning you in the way of the sword. Oh, so could Sanji be a swordsman? That'd be pretty awesome. But then again, as he says before in the past, Sanji says, "These hands of mine exist for the sole purpose of cooking. Unless you're one of the ingredients to one of my dishes, I won't ever use my hands, let alone handle a sharp tool. Using my legs and kicks are only my recourse when it comes to combat." And there's a question bubble popped up in Sanji's head, and he starts to flick up a cigarette. And Viju says, "He's a beast. Hard to believe he's the same Sanji that we all remember." And then Jajji says, "So still, you have that discussing how big of making food for a bunch of filthy rats." And he has that superiority complex. And to add insult to injury, he's not a celestial dragon. Wait, actually, yeah, he is. Well, I don't think he's a celestial dragon, but the point is, like, he has a superiority complex and thinks he's better than everyone. And he says, "You fool, you must remember that royals were never meant to serve others." And Sanji says, it's in one ear and right out the other with you." And then Riju says, and Jajji says, "And what do you have to complain about in this marriage?" And there's a shot of this two holes out of Jajji's boots. And apparently he has rocket boots. And he jumps in the air with his head towards the ground. And he's about to use the spear, and it's an exclamation point. And all the male soldiers noticed that. Some people said, this guy says, the commander flung himself towards Sanji. The other guy said, the fight started over once, we know it as the Garuda. And for the translation, the Garuda is a mythical bird, king, and mount of the Lord, Vishu from Hindu mythology. Oh, come on, man. And the other guy says, it's not something you get to see every day. And Sanji says, what irony. And the spear's still flying towards Sanji. And he activates Diablo Junbei. And he uses Collier Shoot. And he kicks the hell out of Jajji, which deflects his spear. It looks like it can set himself on fire. And Jajji happens to grab on towards Sanji's leg, the leg that's being used as Diablo Junbei. And Sanji says, huh? And Sanji's about to come around for another kick, and lo and behold, Sanji chucks Sanji to the ground. And Sanji's laying on his back. But Sanji's still not done yet. And well, actually, Jajji's still not done yet. And apparently, he's using a certain kind of electro in his foot. It's not like Diablo Junbei. It's like electrical force. Sanji can use fire. Jajji can use electrical force. And Jajji says before kicking Sanji that war is what advances technology. And that's a true ass statement. Like, you know something about the military? The military does not advertise. Know that for sure. I remember a while back that how they used to say that, you know, World War I came out with a bunch of new weapons. Well, yeah, the scientists and engineers were preparing this moment. Like, and then 70 years back, Japan received the atomic nuclear bomb. Actually, two of those. So, like, when World War III breaks out, like, people are still wondering what kind of weapons would be used. Would it be like giant robots or certain healing portions? Whereas if you get shot, you can use stem cell guns to repair your cells. Because since they got blasted off by a bullet, I'm making stuff off, but at the same time, never underestimate the shit that people can come up these days. Anyways, Jajji says war is what advances technology. Sanji sees his father, and then Jajji uses electromagnetic crack, and he shocks the hell out of Sanji, and he still uses his left leg, the rocket, and he uses blaster. And Sanji's still tumbling to the ground. he stumbles to a halt. And then Sanji says, "Hey, mind if I ask you one thing?" And Jajji says, "The grandma you once knew is already a thing of the past." That doesn't make sense. They're still on the kingdom. And Sanji says, "Should blood parents be viewed in some holier than thou light? You never bother giving that little kid a single distant memory. The poor runt had it pretty rough back then, wouldn't you agree?" And then this is a flashback of little child Sanji says, "Father, please let me out." And there's another flashback saying, "Father, it's dark and creepy." And Sanji's about to use Diable and Janbei again, and he uses Parlay or Fair, and then Sanji thinks to himself, "I feel nothing but hatred towards this man." And Jajji says, "Wall." And apparently, when he uses Wall, Jajji's henchmen show up. I think it's a form of using human shield, but that's really messed up all the way. And then Sanji says, "Oh wait, get out of the way, dumbasses." Oh, holy crap. Jajji used the spear. Jajji uses the spear to impale through one of the soldiers. That's just messed up. Like, he killed one of his own soldiers. Well, not really. And Sanji is very, very surprised at this, but he's still coming at him with a Diable Janbei kick. And and the spear went through the guy, and now he uses the spear point is at Sanji, and there's still a bzzz sound going on, and Jajji says, "Electromagnetic shaft," which ends up shooting Sanji away. And there's a shot of Sanji with his cigarette out, so he looks like he's been unconscious. The people cheering Jajji on, even though they just used one of his henchmen. Anyways, the scene changes where someone says, "You're quite sturdy. You continue to amaze." So it seems as though the fight has been over and Sanji is recovering. And then Riju says, "Do you think I'm looking at the same little boy from back then? It's unfathomable." And Sanji said, "This is all so stupid. I just wanted to get this tea party business over with and leave this place as soon as possible. Then I can finally leave this time mess behind." And Sanji says, I let myself believe that maybe you'll have slightly changed for the better. But I don't see that wishful thinking. That was wishful thinking. You're all much worse than before. Get out of my sight, old man. I refuse to be affiliated with you in any way." And then Jajji says, "Say what you will. You can't deny that you have my blood running through your veins. Don't get me wrong. Of all Grimmer soldiers, one thing tries about giving up their lives for us Vinsmokes." And then he also says, "They're the ones who make up Grimmer's ultimate army." And then Sanji says, "They want to use that ultimate army of yours to realize whatever idiotic ambitions you have. Taking over North Blue, that's just fantastic. A perfect goal for an evil bunch led by the likes of you." And Jajji says, "A sensible, if not predictable statement. But with this alliance with Big Mom, the ambition of ours becomes a guaranteed reality." What reality? Let's see here. They're teaming up with a Yonkou to do something that's weird, a little bit weird. Let's see. Yonkou Kaido is looking for Raizu the Ninja. Blackbeard's hunting down Double Fruit users, and Red Hair Shang's doing God knows what. And Jajji says, "All we need from you is simple cooperation. Do not forget, my initial request was to peacefully negotiate terms with you." And the question bubble pops up in Sanji's head. And Jajji says, "It's true that I would love to have someone as powerful as Big Mom as an ally. However, despite it being a mere marriage, I refuse to hand over one of my precious such a mentally damaged woman." What the heck? So, it really is messed up. And then Jajji said, and that's when it struck me. Yes, that's right. Now that I think of it, I used to have an extra dud laying around here somewhere. You ought to serve as a means to end, Sanji, nothing more. Just so we're clear, I still and never will see a fool like you as a son of mine. Not even the slightest. So Jajji and Sanji feel the same way. Sanji doesn't want him as a parent, and Jajji doesn't want him as a son. Sanji's still pissed. And Reiju gives Sanji gives Sanji a bracelet. And a question mark shows up, and Sanji says, "Hey, what the hell is this?" And then and Jajji says, "You said something about your hand being the most special to you. Well then, perfect." And then Jajji says, "Are you familiar with the college that world normals pull on their slaves? A handy tool that allows them to blow on anyone who tries to run away from their owner." Um, and he says, "Those wristlets are no different. If you try to leave this island, well, let's just say that you'll be cooking with your feet." Oh hell no! He's gonna chop them off. What the heck? With the head collars, when the world normals blows up the slaves, they die. But with the wristlets, they'll chop off Sanji's hands, and he'll still live. That's just really messed up. And Jajji says Big Mom was. Hold up. Big Mom. He says Big Mom was kind enough to lend us a pair. Oh, why she has that kind of thing? I'm not surprised. And she only possesses the keys to all those devices. Well, that isn't to say that Grandma will never let you leave this place alive. Because we surely wanted. Whether you like it or not, I'll definitely have you proceed with the marriage. Ah, God. And that's how chapter 833 ends. But there's also a silhouette showing of how the Gurmit army is made up. We have Yanji, we have the two other guys. Sanji's flashback 1 and 2. Uh, and a whole bunch of Gurmit soldiers. That's how it's made up, and that's the end.